You're watching The Roach on Florida TV.
But let me put it this way. I think you might have a sense that these are politically very divisive times in the United States. China is the only thing that Democrats and Republicans and Trump all agree on. You've seen a big change in how U.S. politicians and U.S. intelligence communities talking about China over the past couple of years. Basically, the threat has been recognized. And what's happening with the coronavirus is a big part of this is everyone is realizing, oh, maybe having all of our medical supplies and most of our generic drugs made in China, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Maybe we should have that made in the United States. So, yeah, we're in the middle of a big sea change.
No, it's such an important point because we've been kind of sold in this country that, you know, we don't want to change our medical system because you can't trust other systems and how things are produced. Then you realize most of the drugs are made in Mexico. Much of the products are made in China. It's not even made here in the United States. So when we want to protect our medical system, we're really kind of kidding ourselves. Most of it comes from other places.
Yeah, critical U.S. manufacturing has been sent overseas, particularly to China. It would be nice to see a lot of this manufacturing come back to the United States. And as the trade war has gone on, you have seen some U.S. manufacturing returning to the United States. A lot of it is going to other or Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam. So that is not an ideal situation, but it is still better than being deeply enmeshed with a brutal authoritarian regime that, by their own words, considers itself at war with us.
Is the president doing a good job, do you think, battling the trade war, trying to renegotiate, and do you think he's done a good job?
Well, I always like to say Trump didn't start the trade war. China started the trade war. He's just, we're now, the country as a whole is finally actually beginning to wake up to that fact. There are a lot of things the Trump administration has done, especially when you have guys like Peter Navarro who are really sharp on China. You've seen the administration do things that basically no other administration has done. There's still a lot of things that could be done and should be done. I think the U.S. should show much more support for Taiwan. Taiwan is a big part of the coronavirus story. Taiwan handled it better than almost any other country on Earth, even as Taiwan gets shut out of the World Health Organization because China controls the World Health Organization. I've talked about that a lot recently on the show. Big support for Taiwan. I would also like to see President Trump actually call out the Chinese Communist Party itself. He's always kind of adopted the language of like, oh, you know, my good friend Xi Jinping. And I get why he does that, because he says that, but then launches unprecedented trade war against China. Unprecedented tariffs. So, I guess he's art of the dealing it, but I'd still like to see more done.
Yeah, and it's so hard for like the average person, I'm not a trade expert, far from it. And it's hard to know when you hear about these negotiations, what's correct. I don't know what a good deal is. Yeah, we should be able to sell our products there. And, obviously we buy their products there. You feel like that should be even. But I don't know when, heads of state go in and negotiate these things. The president goes in and negotiates these things. I have to feel like he's going to battle for America. But I don't know. I don't know what anyone's talking about sometimes,
Yeah, it gets really messy, and especially any reporting on China, even in the United States, can definitely be all of it. There's a lot of really good, solid journalism about China from American media, but so for example, again, the coronavirus, you see a lot of U.S. media just repeating Chinese statistics about the spread of the coronavirus inside China. And, the Chinese Communist Party has lied all along about the coronavirus. They were telling us for months that don't worry, it's not human-to-human transmissible. That was a lie. And so when you see Western media just like blindly reporting like, oh, the U.S. has more cases than China, without even questioning the Chinese numbers, it's really disappointing. And so with the trade war, it's the same thing. A lot of times you get mixed messages, and it's really hard to sift through what is actually happening. So that's why, we on China Uncensored, we really put a big effort into trying to take these complex issues, really look at what's going on and make it, as understandable to an average American as possible. Because we're not all trade experts, obviously.
No more Roach on Florida TV.